Designers, I wanted to talk a little bit about sketching this morning and point out a common mistake that a lot of beginning sketching shows, which is using all identical line weights. If you use your pen at the same heaviness all the time, when you're drawing, you may have the right technique in terms of drawing in isometric, using the crate as a guideline, but your design may still be a little difficult to pick out off the page in the midst of all those identical line weights. In addition, if you're drawing in pen like you should be, and you make mistakes and you draw over again to get the right line, which is a proper technique, if you're using the same line weights, it makes your drawing heavier and makes those lines stand out even more. And it's, again, just a little bit more difficult to see your actual design within all of the other identical line weights that are there. Instead, if you practice a progression of line weights so that you can draw with the same pen, very light to moderately heavy, then when you put the crate on the page, if you can do it with your really light weights, you can see the crate kind of disappears when you go back over your design in a slightly heavier line, and then a really heavy line. I can't do this mirrored. A really heavy line around the outside edges. Nope. I can't make my finger go the other way. I was trying to make my finger go along the, there we go. Jeez, I can't do it. Along the outside edge there. It's really hard when it's mirrored. You go around the outside edge with a really heavy line, and that makes your actual design pop out of the page much, much better when you have that progression of line weights from light to dark. So practice that. See if you can, and see the difference. This is exactly the same design. The only difference really is that the one with the different progression of line weights has multiple weights of lines. I drew all the same lines on it as I drew in the first diagram. But at least to my eye, this one is much easier to see the actual design. And that's totally due to those line weight differences. So practice drawing as light as you possibly can, and then a little heavier than that, and then heavy. And see if you can get at least 3 different line weights out of your pen. If you are sure that you are physically capable of doing that, like you are actually drawing really, really lightly, and your particular pen doesn't work well. For example, if you look at the top here, mirrored, these are 2 different pens. This one, I was able to draw a much lighter light line and heavy line. This one, I actually had to duplicate the heavy line multiple times to get a heavy line out of it. It was continually coming out more medium. Some pens work better for this than others. Felt tip pens in particular, marker style pens, don't work well for this technique. Ballpoint pens tend to work the best. And my favorite is the Bic stick type pen. That one is the best I have found for doing this. So give this a try. Try a progression of line weights and practice using it for the crates first, and then a slightly heavier line for the design, and then a really heavy line for the outlines.